What if a secret 2,000 years old literally fell out of a cliff and into your lap? That's almost exactly what happened around 1899 on the Polish coast. An eroding cliffside gave way, and a mysterious coffin, unseen for millennia, tumbled into the modern world. Inside wasn't just a skeleton, but the lavish burial of a young woman. Locals quickly nicknamed her the Princess of Bagish. But who was this woman really? And what can her one of a kind tree trunk tomb tell us about the wheel bark culture, a lost people who vanished from the pages of history? Today we're piecing together the clues to uncover the story of the 2,000-year-old princess who fell from a cliff. Our story starts near the village of Bagish on Poland's Baltic coast. Around 1899, the relentless sea gnawed away at a cliff, causing a section to collapse and reveal something incredible. A coffin carved from a single hollowed out oak log. At over 2 meters long, it was a stunning sight. The damp coastal environment had worked a small miracle, preserving organic materials that almost never survived the centuries. When archaeologists opened it, they found the remains of a woman between 25 and 35 years old. She was laid to rest on a cowhide, her woolen clothing still partially intact. At her feet, a small wooden stool. But it was her jewelry that truly sparked the imagination. A beautiful necklace of amber and glass beads, intricate bronze bracelets, and a stylish bronze brooch called a fibula. The discovery was a sensation. The rich grave goods are what earned her the popular title Princess of Bagish. And for over a century, many assumed she was a member of the elite. But her grave seemed completely isolated, which only deepened the mystery. Who were her people, and why was she buried all alone? The princess belonged to a group known as the wheel bark culture, a people often associated with the early Goths who live in modern day Poland between the 1st and 5th century. The wheel bark are known for their very distinct burials. They didn't bury their dead with weapons. Instead, graves were filled with elaborate costumes and ornaments, pointing to a society that valued status and trade. High status individuals were sometimes buried in hollowed out log coffins, just like the one found at Bagish. But here's the thing: Poland's soil is typically so acidic that nearly all of these wooden coffins have rotted away, leaving only faint stains in the earth. The Bagish coffin is the only fully preserved example of its kind from the Roman Iron Age in Poland. This makes it a priceless window into wheel bark funeral rites. Her solitary burial puzzled researchers for decades, but recent erosion revealed the truth. She wasn't alone at all. She was part of a larger cemetery that the sea had been slowly reclaiming piece by piece. And if you're enjoying this journey into the past, consider subscribing for more historical mysteries. We dig up stories that time almost forgot. For more than a century, the biggest question was simple: What when exactly did she live? The style of her bronze brooch and beads point to a date somewhere between 110 and 160 CE. For decades, that was the accepted story, but then in 2018, modern science threw a huge wrench in the works. Radiocarbon dating of one of her teeth came back with a shocking result. Her death was placed somewhere between 113 BCE and 65 CE. This created a baffling 300-year gap. How could she be centuries older than the very thing she was buried with? The mystery was a dead end. For years, scientists were stuck. The coffin itself held the key, but the risk of damaging this unique artifact was just too high. Finally, a recent study led by archaeologist Marta Szorzandzowski delivered the breakthrough. Using new, minimal invasive techniques, her team took a tiny core sample from the oak coffin for tree dating, also known as dendrochronology. By matching its 112 growth rings to regional tree records, they pinpoint the exact year the oak was cut down. 120 CE. The coffin was likely made right after, perfectly matching the age of the artifacts. So why was the tooth date so wildly off? The answer wasn't in the ground, but on her plate. Isotope analysis shows she ate a lot of freshwater fish. This triggers something called the reservoir effect. When older carbon from aquatic food chains build up in the body, it essentially skews radiocarbon dates, making a person seem much, much older than they actually are. With that, science had finally cracked the case. The Princess of Bagish died around 120 CE, but the investigation also added a fascinating twist to her story. The princess nickname, it might be more romance than reality. Analysis of her bones revealed she had osteoarthritis, possibly from a life of hard physical labor, not exactly the easy life of royalty. She was clearly an important and respected woman in her community, but maybe not a princess as we think of one. The story of the Princess of Bagish is a remarkable tale of how a secret, lost at the sea for nearly 2,000 years, was pieced back together by modern science. Her unique coffin, perfectly preserved by the damp earth, survived just long enough for us to find it. And as the cliffs of Bagish continue to crumble into the sea, who knows what other secrets are waiting to be revealed? What do y'all think is the most fascinating part of her story? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.